So, unfortunately, I'm completely out of video ideas, and as of now, I won't be able to keep up with my usual weekly upload schedule on the main channel anymore because of that. Now, when I say that I'm out of ideas, I mean that I'm out of good ideas. I still have plenty of ideas for concepts that sound good but are hard to execute, sound good but are limited, sound bad but are funny, or ones that sound good but I've just been a little too burnt out to get around to writing the script for. I posted a similar video last year where I covered 53 video ideas, and I actually ended up turning about 7 of them into videos after getting inspiration from some comments. Most of these ideas this time around are a little more fleshed out than the ones in that other video, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to turn more than just 7 of them into videos. I'll be numbering them off so it's easier for you to refer to them in the comments, and we'll be going in order from most developed, like I almost went through with making it and maybe even started writing the script, to least developed, where it's just an idea. Balancing unreleased and unobtainable Pokemon and Pokemon mechanics. So, I have about half of the script for this video written, and it was originally inspired by Eternal Floette because it was a Pokemon that was unobtainable for like 12 years, but was finally made obtainable in Legends ZA and was given a Mega. But the things that I'm talking about that I wrote a little bit about were Eternamax Eternatus, the Legend Plate for Arceus, and Arceus's question mark, question mark, question mark form, the Starmobile Revavroom forms, and their signature moves, Battle Bond Greninja, which is obtainable, but it's never been usable in VGC, even in Reg J. And all of the partner Pikachu, partner Eevee, and all of their signature moves. There may be some other ones that I'm forgetting, but those are the ones that I was looking at. The best Pokemon for every Terra type. This would be pretty similar to the best monotypes video, where I just go through every type and make 1 or 2 picks for each type. But I'm unsure if I should include restricted legendaries this time around, because there'd be some really interesting ones that I'd be leaving out, but that might also seem a little bit unfair to include them. I also don't know if I should allow repeat Pokemon, and I also am struggling to find some for certain types. Like, let's see, Dragon, Fighting, Ground, Rock, and Bug, I don't really have a lot of good picks for. Pokemon Legends Arceus and Legends ZA mechanics that should stay in the traditional turn-based games. Now, there's things like the shiny sound in the overworld and the linking cord to evolve trade Pokemon that would be good for Winds and Waves, and there's Frostbite that would be good for champions, but that's really all I got. Nerfs that could be reverted. There are Pokemon that have been nerfed because they were really strong for a time, but now they're not even that good, and if that nerf was undone, it could be fine. I'm talking about like Gengar losing Levitate. It could probably get it back and it would be totally balanced. And I could also include moves, like maybe Dragon Pulse getting nerfed from 90 to 85, or Aura Sphere getting nerfed from 90 to 80. What if VGC had bans like Smogon does? Like, what if certain Pokemon like Incineroar or Fluttermane were banned? Or what if certain moves were banned, like a no protect format, or a no fake out format, or something like that? Unexpectedly good Megas. I mainly just want an excuse to talk about Mega Scovillain, but I don't really know if any of the other new Megas, or even some of the old ones, would fit into this category. The best Pokemon that didn't get nerfed, or ones that narrowly escaped getting nerfed. Maybe they were just bad enough to not be like the top threat, so they didn't get nerfed, which kind of led to them being the top threat in the next generation because of the top threats got nerfed. I'm talking about like Mega Kangaskhan was nerfed pretty hard because it was like the best Mega, but Mega Charizard Y, which was a little worse in like Gen 6 when it was introduced, never really got any nerfs, and now it's like the best Mega in Champions. The best nerfs to overpowered Pokemon. This would be a counterpart to the best buffs to old Pokemon video that I did, and I nearly had the entire script for this video written, but then Moxie Boosted made pretty much the exact video, so I kind of abandoned this idea. The best and worst designed Mega Evolutions. I kind of turned this into the best Mega Glow-Ups video and the Megas in Theory video, but there are still some that I haven't talked about, like Mega Mewtwo X, Mega Audino, and Mega Garchomp, that I think it might still be worth it to make a video on the worst designed Megas. Going over anti-meta picks, like the best anti-meta pick from every format or from every world championship or something like that. I was inspired by seeing some Lycanroc Dusks at the most recent NAIC to counter Mega Charizard Y, and I think looking into that could be kind of cool. A discussion on physical versus special attackers. Like, are special attackers actually much better than physical attackers? This has kind of been done by some other creators, but with, new mechanics and new things in champions, maybe it could be something to revisit. Moves, items, and abilities that are broken in singles, but balanced in doubles. I'm talking about things like Baton Pass, Last Respects, Shed Tail, Shadow Tag, and things like that. Strategies that are good in singles and good in doubles, but for different reasons. I think it's tough to find entries that are interesting because it's really boring to just say, oh yeah, high power attacking moves are good in singles and good in doubles. One of the only ones that I think would be interesting is pivoting moves, because in singles, they're used to safely give yourself a better matchup, whereas in doubles, they're really more used to help reset switch-in effects. Like Incineroar uses it to reset so it can have another use of Intimidate and Fake Out, or Rillaboom uses it to be able to reset grassy terrain and also have another use of Fake Out. The best unevolved Pokemon for every type. This would be similar to the best monotypes and the best Terra types video, and there are definitely some good picks for some types, but some types just don't really have anything. What if Megas could have multiple abilities? How would that work? What abilities would they get? New toy syndrome in competitive Pokemon. Pokemon that were only used for like 1 or 2 regulations because they were new to the format and people thought that they could be good, but they end up falling off pretty hard later on. Coming up with moves that we need but still don't have, like an accurate physical rock move or a strong and accurate physical electric move. Doing another 3 levels of buffs or 3 levels of nerfs to a different category of Pokemon. Maybe buffs to the worst Megas, or nerfs to the best Megas, or maybe to the worst legendaries or something like that. The worst Pokemon in theory. Ones that sounded pretty bad but ended up actually being pretty good. Something with the least used Pokemon in the format. Like right now, Gourgeist, Galarian Stunfisk, Samurott, and Cantonian Tauros are some of the least used Pokemon, and I don't know, buffing them or something like that, but I'm pretty sure Moxie Boosted already did this same video. Pokemon with the best stab moves, or maybe types that have the best stab moves. Abilities that are bad individually, but would be solid if their effects were tacked on to other abilities. Kind of like how Keen Eye is terrible as a standalone ability, but as a bonus effect to Mind's Eye, it's good. How gimmick-tied legendary Pokemon forms could be reworked into a signature item or something like that. Abilities that could be items, items that could be moves, moves that could be abilities, or any combination of one that would be better fit as the other. Remaking some old videos now that I've gotten better at writing and editing. I generally don't like the idea of reusing old content, but there were some pretty good ideas I had early on that I just didn't really execute very well that I think would make for interesting remakes. Pokemon mechanics that aged really well. Ones that were introduced in early generations and were completely untouched throughout their entire history. maybe I could call it like untouched Pokemon mechanics or something like that. The problem with the national decks and why Dexit is actually fine and probably a good thing for game balance. Alright, and the rest are all more second channel video ideas because they're either more casual or more gameplay oriented, not like video essay oriented like I do on the main channel. My hottest Pokemon takes. I have a few in mind, and I could probably think of some more for the video, and I generally try to stay away from completely opinion-based videos, but on the second channel, I might do something like this. Going over all or some of the questions I ask in community polls from time to time. Like I recently asked one about move accuracy. I've asked one about the most broken Pokemon of all time, going through those and seeing what people think. Playing OU singles and VGC doubles with the same team. I actually tried doing this in January, back when the format was Reg F, and I abandoned the video because it was really boring and I just performed pretty poorly on the ladder because I'm not that great of a battler. But the team was Rillaboom, Tinglu, Ogerpon Wellspring, Goldengo, Dragonite, and Glamora. It was really interesting making sure that I abide by both rule sets, because in VGC, you have to abide by the item clause, so you can't have multiple leftovers or multiple assault vests. You also need to abide by the legal Pokemon. So in VGC, I can't have Fluttermane, because it's banned in OU, and in OU, I can't have Pecharunt, since it's a mythical, which is banned in VGC. Getting singles coaching from Pinkacross. Pinkacross is a singles content creator who offers coaching sessions and maybe doing a video on that. And since I don't really play singles, it might be interesting to look into that. Using a team in Champions that is composed entirely of unchanged recruit Pokemon and having it built by the Auto Team Builder button. And finally, not even Pokemon related, but just a general tip video on starting a YouTube channel and how to grow a YouTube channel. So those are my video ideas. It's been a really fun ride posting weekly uploads for nearly a year and a half now, but it eventually had to come to an end. But once again, if you can help expand on them, I would really appreciate that, and maybe get back on track to posting weekly uploads again.